Hello everyone! I haven't been filming a lot at all recently. I've not been well and I haven't really felt like it in ages and ages, but today I feel like it, so today I'm going to do a video. I actually today really want to show you vintage purchases I've made in the last couple of years. If you've read a feature I wrote on my blog recently, I'll link it below if you haven't. I wrote about how it took me years to get into vintage. I had a friend, hi Kay, sorry, past tense. I have a friend called Kay, that she has been into vintage for years and years and years, and we're both from Manchester, and we used to go to Oxford Road, and I would just be waiting for my turn to go to the Arndale. Always just sort of humoured her, would go with her to Oxford Road, but would never really look at the products, never look at the vintage, and I'm completely irritated with myself that I did that, because I have so many nice clothes now that are vintage, and it's a struggle not to go in to the shops all the time and go and get some more. So I will start. The first thing is a gigantic denim shirt. This is always inside out when I show things. It's like a faux denim shirt and it's freaking huge. I definitely should have thought about this before I bought it, but of course, being me, didn't. When I took it into pants, you can see like literally about a foot below my ass. Like you can see where it is if it's tucked in. This would have fit a very large man indeed. I use this for just wearing in the house most of the time, but I will be looking for a denim shirt for the summer, for festival season. I'd definitely be going vintage for that because I like the wash better, like the worn-in feel of a denim shirt that's been worn previously. Plus, it will probably be cheaper from a vintage store. The next thing, or things, as I'd like to group these together, is plaid shirts. So I've had these two for over a year now, maybe 2 years. They are both from Ryan Vintage on Oxford Road in Manchester, which is an enormous thrift shop in the northern quarter of Manchester. It's huge, it goes all the way back. It's got some really interesting things in there too. They have like loads of wedding dresses like that you would imagine being on Miss Havisham at the back, and they have so much. I just really recommend going there if you're going to Manchester. So I got these two plaid shirts from there. I got this green one. This is a nice fit. I like this one because it's a lot cooler than the one I'm about to show you. When I say cooler, I don't mean like, hey, it's cooler. I mean, it's cooler colours, so it's a nice contrast to the other one that I have. This is the other one I have, and this is probably my most worn item in my entire wardrobe. More than any pair of jeans, more than any jacket I have, this I wear so much. But more often than not, I just love to pair it with, I just spat. Oh my god, I'm like a snake. I love to have this with leather, especially with a leather jacket I'm going to show you in a second. I like to tie it around my waist. I know that everybody has these, but if you don't, I really recommend you get one. And don't get it from Urban Outfitters because, for God's sake, they sell them for like £40. I don't remember, I got this so long ago, but it was £12 tops. It might even have been £8. So if you're looking for these things, go to a vintage shop. I am serious, because you are throwing your money away if you go to Urban Outfitters or Topshop for it. Continuing the Americana type theme, most of the things are rather US inspired, which is interesting. I wonder if vintage shop owners tend to stock that kind of look. You know, the kind of like chilled Marlon Brando, James Dean type biker look. Maybe they do. But this definitely puts my vintage clothes in that sort of arena. This is my amazing American sweater from Cow Vintage, the Cow Vintage on West Street in Sheffield, and I saw this and I was on a spending ban, and obviously as soon as I saw it I was like, there's no way at all I'm leaving that so that someone else can pick it. I just couldn't imagine someone else picking it up and it wouldn't be me. So I had to get it. It reminds me of like a sort of vintage US Olympic team sweater. It's got a little one on the back. This is actually probably one of my favourite vintage things I've bought. Cow vintage, which they have in several cities and online, tends to be more expensive, which always used to put me off. For this anyway, it was totally worth it. I love this so much. After having just said that I don't really buy from Cow Vintage, it's from Cow Vintage. So there's me lying. Is a lace dress. A sheer lace dress, as you can see. I definitely wouldn't be able to wear this with nothing underneath because I'm not a Victoria's Secret model. It was originally a long sleeved affair, which you can probably tell because of my really crappy job at cutting it. But I cut the sleeves off to make it into more of a summery thing, sort of like Victoriana detailing, like something you can imagine Jane Eyre wearing it out in the garden if she had any fashion sense, which obviously she doesn't. Maybe that was a bad example. Someone like Elizabeth Bennet in Pride and Prejudice, you can imagine her wearing this, you know, in the fields, you know, tending to the lambs and things. But obviously that's not how I'm going to wear it. I will definitely toughen it up with a leather belt and a leather jacket, and I imagine I'll be wearing this to some of the festivals that I'll be going to this year. Next up is a very heavy duty item. It's an item that absolutely everybody has on their top 10 things that every woman should have in their wardrobe, alongside denim jeans, alongside white t-shirt, alongside the black blazer, and it is of course the black leather jacket. This is a massive jacket that I got from Pop Boutique on Oxford Road in Manchester, and it's by someone called Bertolucci, which sounds Italian to me. It is real leather, just checking for you. Love these jackets that are completely oversized, completely battered, sort of like Christopher Eccleston's Doctor in Doctor Who, if you're geeky enough to have watched that when you were 11 like I did. These biker details, the zips, the lapels, and it's just a really like gritty jacket. I have to have one of these. Ever since Simon, my boyfriend, bought one last year, I've been wearing that a lot. I basically took it off him. This one is as good as it's gonna get compared to the one that he has. They are quite expensive. This one was about £60. That is about how much you will have to pay for one. Pretty cheap, really. My light fell. Anyway, how much material you get and how thick it is. £60 is not a lot of money, especially considering tiny little things from All Saints that are leather cost upwards of £300. Again, vintage saves the day. The last two things are something I bought from a vintage shop, which I wouldn't normally do because it's less of a timeless thing and more of a trend, and I prefer to buy vintage if it's going to last me years and years through seasons, such as the plaid, the denim and the leather. But these are just so stunning, I had to. I was in Brick Lane in London, in Shoreditch, and I came across quite a few different vintage shops. A lot of them were very overpriced, but there's one that's on the corner, and I'm really sorry I do not remember the name of it, but it's on the corner at Brick Lane, and it has loud music blasting out, and I thought I'm gonna go in there. And I'm so glad I did, because I found two absolute staple skirts for this summer. A whole rack of suede skirts, and the two that I picked up fit me. I mean, when does this happen? Like never, I'm pretty sure. First of all is this emerald green one. I mean, if I was a film director and I was this is very tenuous, but if I was a film director and I was directing The Wizard of Oz, this is the colour that I would make the Emerald City. It's such a perfect jewel colour. Especially love wearing this with a lot of, you know, monochrome, which is what I want to do. Like most of us fashion people, you know, we like to live in the dark. It's great for lifting my wardrobe out of that, and it's the perfect suede, the perfect colour for the 70s revival. Finally is the other skirt that I got from this mystery vintage shop on Brook Lane, and it is this grey skirt. It's a wraparound skirt, so it's like this. No, it doesn't. What are you doing, Jess? That wouldn't fit. Sort of like, it's like a kilt length, slightly A-line, but for me it reminds me more of a kilt, and it's got this amazing hardware here, which really reminds me of like the Chloe campaign for this spring summer. Oh, it's just so stunning, and this fits me perfect, and oh, it's just beautiful. So yeah. They are my favourite main things in my vintage collection right now. You can follow all of my goings on Twitter and Instagram, and obviously on my blog. I'll link it all below. Comment and tell me what your favourite vintage item is, and just remember that when you're going to buy leather or plaid or often denim, it is often cheaper to go vintage. So I really hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you again.